don't feel good about how this movie treated really anybody.
Welcome to the Too Old or Pure Gold movie podcast. In today's episode, we're discussing the 1982 action-adventure movie Beastmaster. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? I'm your host, Olen Vanderleeden, representing Gen X. Joining me today is special guest, co-host, and long-lost friend, Aron Levitz. Aron,
hi, everyone.
Aron, I'm just thankful your MySpace page was still active so that we could reconnect.
It's good because my Friendster got cut off about 2 weeks ago. Really sad moment.
Aron has actually been a guest on our pod previously, way back in episode 14 when we did Hudson Hawk, which, honestly, Aron, that was a great pick and one of our favorite episodes. It really was. So we're excited to have you back again, and this time you get to examine one of my picks.
I am so excited for everything that's about to happen, probably for very different reasons than you, my friend.
Okay, well, Aron, before I introduce the rest of the cast, can I ask, did you have this in your Betamax collection, or did you have to watch it on YouTube like the rest of us?
I'm a Betamax truther. Let's just be very clear on that. But no, this is one that I had to go to the interwebs to find. And fun fact, this is legally available for free on something called fossum.com that I didn't even know existed. So I was ready to fork out the $24.99 to buy this gem, but was happy to find out that it is available for free. Ad supported, I should say, on fossum.com.
Also, fun fact, it's an entire genre on Pornhub.
That's why it was so familiar.
All right.
For those of you listening, you don't need a VPN to watch this Beastmaster anywhere. Just saying.
Are you sure?
These days, yes.
All right, back to the cast. So representing the millennials this week, we have musician and medieval music expert Clef Seeley.
Something like that.
And Clef, I want to ask, have you been practicing your hurdy-gurdy, or you been focusing more on the standard instruments lately?
I've definitely been a little bit glued to the computer when it comes to this stuff, for sure.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, finally rounding out the cast of the millennials, we brought in our ferret expert, Sean.
Hello.
Hello, Sean. Good morning. So, before we get into this episode, just a reminder, we need your support to grow this podcast, so please remember to like, follow, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you this content. Today's movie is the 1982 movie Beastmaster, and I just learned that this movie is part of what we call the sword and sandal genre. How poetic. Beastmaster stars Mark Singer and the lovely Tanya Roberts. I don't really know what we know Mark from other than he had a recurring role on Dallas in the 80s. So I think he might have peaked in this movie. We also have better-known actors John Amos from Good Times and Rip Torn from Everything. The movie was directed by Don Corsicelli. Don is a cult horror genre director, having done Phantasm before this, and, well, he went on to 4 more Phantasm movies after this. The tagline from the movie poster is, "Born with the courage of an eagle, the strength of a black tiger, and the power of a god." And I do have to ask why a black tiger, but we'll talk more about that when we get into it. IMDb describes the film as a sword and sorcery fantasy about a young man's search for revenge. Armed with supernatural powers, the handsome hero and his animal allies wage war against the marauding forces.
I have another tagline for it, though. I think it's just It's Timu Conan, isn't it?
I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, if it was written today, tagline would just be Timu Conan the Barbarian.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, for those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch Beastmaster and summarize the plot.
This should be good.
Beastmaster is an adventure fantasy movie in which an ancient warrior called Dar with the amazing ability to communicate with animals, the beasts, animals that will help him to save the life of his friends from the crazy plans of an evil high priest named Max. Not Max, but Mark. In a scene that reminds me of The Lion's King, you see the masses submissively crawl and walk up a hill towards him and to honor him and to make him their leader. Well, all of this takes a good long time, but it becomes obvious from the very beginning what's going to happen. Nevertheless, it is an enjoyable movie where the animals are playing a great role. So, watch for Sharak, a golden eagle, Kodo and Podo, a pair of thieving ferrets, and they are particularly funny, and a black panther named Rut, or Rue. So, enjoy.
There you go. You love the ferrets.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we know who the real heroes are. So,
Well, I want to get everyone's overall reaction. And Aron, I know this is your first time watching Beastmaster, so that's going to make this even more fun. I'm pretty comfortable in making the statement that this won't be the last time you watch it now that you've discovered this gem.
I will have to revisit in therapy. I'll tell you that much. But other than that,
Okay.
there's two more movies in this franchise that I'm just dying to know what happens.
I know, we'll bring you back when we do the sequels, but first, we have to hear what you thought of this one.
I feel bad because I think you may be up for some lawsuits and false advertising after I say this, because I think your tagline is to Gen Xers watch beloved movies from their past. There's two problems with that. I've never seen this movie before. And when my dear friend Olen says, you need to watch this movie and come on this podcast, I say no. But when he asks the fourth time, with some tears in his eyes, I finally say yes. And the truth is, wow, this is everything you would expect from a low budget 80s, like sword and sorcery type movie. Like this comes on the heels of Conan, and I'm sure there's some history of the two studios like fighting it out, going like, who can get our, what'd you call it, swords and sandals out first. But it has everything you need, right? A lot of close-ups of heroes' faces because they can't afford to choreograph fight scenes. For no reason whatsoever, women's clothes just fall off at really strange and non-sequential parts of the movie.
Yes, they do.
Did they paint the tiger?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
they
it
did.
is painted, right?
They painted the tiger.
Now, I will tell everyone that I actually watched to the ends of the credits where it did say we worked with the Humane Society, but at no point did it have the next line that said no animals were harmed in the filming of this movie, which is a little bit concerning to me.
Oh,
But-
I've got lots of trivia for you about it.
Oh,
Oh
no.
my goodness. So it really was like everything in like the early 80s Wild West of like action movies at low budget. You know, the one camera that they had one follow cam that just followed if you're going through a dark corridor, there was just a shot of a character's back for far too long. Like all those good tropes. Just no, like this movie was so rough, guys. I was excited. I remember it from the movie stores, like being like, "Hey, Dad, can we rent that?" And him always going no. And now I know
Because
why.
your dad loved you.
He did. He did. I found the win. I found the win from my childhood. So
Sean has a different experience with his father. Well, we'll talk about the budget part later. I'm not sure it was low budget. We can debate that. So what's fun about this is it is the premise of the podcast to dig up ones that we loved in our youth. And I was 12 when this came out. And I mean, Tanya Roberts and tigers and a guy that can control animals with his mind, it all seemed pretty cool. So the question is, does it hold up? And for me, maybe it isn't good, but for me, it is bad good. It is one of those movies. I mean, sexy witches, painted tigers, bat people, ferrets, sword fights, a few good-looking peasants in leather underpants. I don't really know what else you want in a movie, seriously. But let's hear from the millennials.
Well, here, I'll jump in.
Oh,
Listen,
please.
so yeah, I also, I mean, I don't think I hated it nearly as much. I didn't love it. I was sort of on the fence with it. For the first 15 minutes, sort of thought that the movie was going to be hackneyed.
What?
I watched it on YouTube, and it was very dark. Like the picture was very dark. So I thought, is this going to be a
Very.
really like dark movie and like hard to see throughout? And a lot of the action at the beginning was really hackneyed. The moment for me where it switched, where I was like, oh, this movie is for real, is when the fucking grizzly bear came out. I was like, oh, like I thought it was just gonna be like another lady in a mask or something, but and to tie into that, so currently I'm on vacation. I'm up in northern BC right now. And on Thursday I went fishing. And we went down to the river and we got there at 9 a.m. And I shit you not, we get there and as we arrive, 200 yards away from us on the other side of the river, two fully grown grizzly bears in full combat, like National Geographic, up on their hind legs, like attacking each other, like ramming each other. It went on for like 15 minutes. Like we were sitting there watching this going like, what the fuck? And I thought, you never see this kind of stuff. And then I went home and watched this movie.
Okay, well, before we hear from Sean, I'm going to jump in with some trivia now. Is that that bear, that was a quote-unquote trained bear. Obviously, they used real animals in this. And when they let the bear out of his cage to do his scenes, he turned on his trainer and attacked him and mauled him and sent him to the hospital. They had to wrangle the bear back into his cage, and then as soon as they did, they went and got Mark Singer and said, "We're ready to do your scene." And he is like, "What the fuck are you guys doing here?" Anyhow, so he had just snacked on his own trainer just before he shot that scene.
Well, at least they got the shot, right?
I mean, but this is both shocking and yeah, that tracks. Like that totally is how I assume most of this movie went.
The bear was method acting.
Yeah.
That bear was like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, at least it wasn't hungry by the time it got on set, right? Because like, what do you do for craft services for a bear?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that very much tracks with how I assume this. Look, I think when the bear came out, just if we're going to talk about this, it took me a second to go, that can't be a real bear. Like, there's no way yep, that's definitely a real bear.
I was
And
like, holy shit, that's a real bear. I literally out loud went, holy shit. Like I'm sitting in the basement with my headphones in, like, what? Holy shit, that's a real bear.
I know. That's you're right, Clef. That's a great point. This is when the movie really stepped up.
It was a step up. It was like, this movie is not fucking around. Like, we're gonna have, child sacrifice scenes on top of the pyramid. We're gonna have multiple set changes. We're gonna traverse the great continent, like, to get every shot that we need for this movie. We are going, like, everything. It did not pull off the stops, and I don't know why. I don't know why it went so hard.
It's also 2 hours long.
It's 2 hours
It's
long.
very long.
They I guess they ran out of money and didn't pay the editors. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to admit this. At 40 minutes in, I switched to 1.25 speed. I watched this movie a little fast.
That's funny. I watched it on 0.5 speed. 'Cause I needed more ferrets.
I was going to say you had very different ferret experiences. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, speaking of ferrets, we're 15 minutes in and haven't even heard from Sean.
Yeah.
Sean, I know you love all ferret-based movies, but how does this one fit in the whole lexicon of ferret movies?
It's a terrible movie. It's just a bad movie. I got
How
a lot of
dare
entertainment.
you?
I'm sorry. I was very excited for this because
You insisted on being on this one, so you did this to yourself.
I did do this one to myself.
Ooh.
I feel like I did see this when I was young. I feel like you tortured me at some point with this. And I had fond memories, but oh man, this movie's not good. And I got some enjoyment out of how bad this movie was.
There you
But
go.
I think the biggest telling factor was by the time we got... So I watched it at lunch yesterday. By the time we got to the end of the day, I was like talking to Catherine about the day, and she's like, we watched that movie today. I'm like, what movie? The one you're talking about tomorrow. I'm like, oh, right.
Little last minute.
So that sums up my thoughts.
That's called suppressing trauma, by the way, Sean, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, that's PTSD. You're describing PTSD.
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you, this movie is loosely adapted from the novel of the same name, written by Andre Norton in 1959, very ahead of his time. But Andre was so happy with the film that she asked that her name be removed from the credits. So
Classic.
They might not have stuck strictly to the book.
I will say I want to join you. I want to join for more movies in this, whatever you call it, sword and sandal genre, because it fascinates me the weird obsession the early 80s had with
Exactly.
this weird like fantasy world style thing. Like I know Conan.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's Conan, Krull, Excalibur, Dragon Slayer. Like, there's tons of these.
Deathstalker, Sheena, Sword and the Sorcerer, You're the Hunter. It's incredible.
And they are not kidding with this movie. They're not kidding.
No. They put everything in here. I mean...
This was a serious movie at the time.
They're trying to make this film.
Yeah.
They are trying to make this film. Yes. Thank you, Clef. That's a bold statement.
Here's a question from people who grew up in the 80s. Did people actually think they looked cool in their loincloths?
Yes.
Interesting.
Like, from a costume standpoint, like, this was a big deal. Like, you were immersed in something like this in the 80s. Like, this was, Lord of the Rings big to somebody who watched this. Like, think about the amount of shots that you looked at and went, wow, there were helicopters involved in this, right?
There were,
like,
yes. Yes.
Owen's going to tell me they were helicopters. They didn't just staple cameras to doves or something, right?
Although I wouldn't have put it past them.
Do you want it? Do you want it now, Aaron? So
no, we need to build up.
No,
yeah, I mean, did they shoot that dog? Did they hit that dog with an arrow and make him really pull the body weight?
Okay, because like when they were carrying that dog to be buried, that looked way too real.
I did not.
It
did look way too real, and it made me uncomfortable.
And Olen, that dog looks exactly like my dog, and you know that.
I know. I texted you when I was watching it.
And it came on screen, and I was like, Toby! Oh, this dog is gonna be his, like, trusted companion! This dog's gonna be, like, his buddy! And he's dead. And he's dead.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that was a little triggering.
Oh, and he's really for real dead, and they're carrying him to... Oh, and they're setting him on fire. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, Aaron, helicopters and stapling birds. So, the hawk in this would not fly. So they rented a hot air balloon and threw him out of it every time they needed to capture film of him flying.
You had one job, Hawk. One job.
Even the hawk was dissatisfied with the conditions on the set. The animals were not happy here.
You can't paint a tiger black.
And if you do his lips too.
That was also disconcerting.
Like, it felt very racist.
They put a tiger in blackface.
Racist tiger, I don't know. And why? Okay, now that we're on it, why the choice of a black tiger? Is black tiger that doesn't actually exist better than a real tiger?
Sorry, so since you so everyone knows, Olen asked me specifically not to do any research before or after watching this. So, was it meant to be a black tiger, not like a panther?
It was meant to be a black tiger, and it says right in the tagline he has the strength of a black tiger, which made me question, are black tigers stronger? Now, there is the occasional black tiger. It's just a regular tiger that has fucked up genes. They're rare, but I don't think they're stronger. They're just...
Well, they certainly run faster.
I really thought it was supposed to be a panther, that they couldn't get a panther.
Nope. It's a black tiger. They call it out in the tagline. So
because I feel like if I remember the artwork for the cover, it looked like a panther on the front of it.
I just tried to imagine the guys whose job it was to spray paint that tiger. Like, oops, got it in your eyes again. Like,
Why do you think they didn't do the mouth? Let's be really clear. Safety. I remember the cover of this clearly from growing up because it was one of those things I tried to rent multiple times, and my dad said absolutely not. And
again, your dad loved you.
I mean, I remember it being a panther too. So when the first time it runs across the screen, I'm like, that's a really furry. No, that's definitely a tiger. I don't think they're black tigers. Why are its lips white? It was a very disconcerting moment altogether. So this is where I went from, because you got to remember, you go from grizzly bear going like, this is a real movie, to not one but two ferrets that they trained well, to a hawk, which I thought was really in on the joke, but apparently wasn't, to this spray painted black tiger. That's actually when the movie turned back for me. That's like, oh, this is what we're getting for the rest of this film now again.
So few questions here. What do we think of the acting, and should Mark Singer have been more successful?
Well, the acting was pretty consistent throughout the movie.
It was.
I'll give it that. It was like very evenly spread. Like, you know, it was like a very fine veneer of filming, of acting quality from everybody.
I would say the script editor from John Wick looked at this script and went, wow, there's not a lot of dialogue, is there? Like, it was, I think everyone combined probably said 400 words in the whole. I think Rip Torn maybe said a few extra words, as did John Amos, but like, I don't know how well. Sorry, what's the actor's name? Dar. I know Dar in
Mark
the film.
Singer.
Mark Singer. I don't know if he could hold like, you know, a place in, you know, Henry V or anything. But as long as he just had to do close-ups and growl a lot, he would do fine in any movie.
Well, I thought Tanya Roberts was very convincing in her role. I'll just say that.
As woman.
Okay.
Yeah, this movie failed the Bechdel test spectacularly.
Oh, well, we'll get into that stuff. This movie is so bad.
Also, not 1 second draft on naming anything in this movie.
No, they definitely second drafted Mayax. It was definitely Max in writing, and someone went, is that medieval enough? How are we going to do this? They're like, I don't know, double a letter. And
yeah, I would believe that they shopped it there, but whatever they wrote down, that was the final.
yeah,
That's what.
yeah.
I do love in my dad's plot summary that he clarified the pronunciation of Mayax. That's good.
Not my axe.
Okay, does anybody know why there were Hare Krishnas in this film?
Lore. It's lore.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, well, I thought so for this one I prepared a little differently than normally. I just have a bunch of questions for you guys that I'm going to rip off here, if that's okay. First of all, Sean, favorite tiger color?
White.
White. Oh, okay. Aron, sexy legs with which face? Have you ever encountered that in the real world?
Look, that was a wild choice in this movie, and I'm surprised it took you this long into the podcast to bring that up.
I know. I've been waiting.
Just only in the 80s is that a writing point into a movie. Like, guys, I got this scene for you. I borrowed a mask from Hellraiser, but I have an extra bikini from some other 80s buddy comedy. How are we going to use this? Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a bit of a question / theory about this, because at a certain point, I mean, you talked about the women's clothing randomly going away, which is true. But despite that, I feel like the women were more dressed more often than the men. And between that and the fact that most of the women had to wear those masks, I did wonder to myself, is this someone who was like quietly trying to, showcase being gay and that it's, better to be gay?
Well, where's Matthew when you need him? Well,
I would have liked his take on this.
Sean, you're absolutely right. I had in worst parts farming in a poncho with no underwear.
So true. So true.
So I agree with you totally on that.
It wasn't like just a little bit. It was like very consistently the men had nothing.
Okay, so I'm going back to my questions here, and Clef, I sent you this one ahead of time because it was driving me crazy. Was the soundtrack the Muzak version of Battlestar Galactica theme? Because I swear this was Battlestar Galactica, but they just did a slight tweak. It was
No. That's not what it is. It's the same score, but it's the instrumentation that you change. It's you go to the hurdy-gurdy. You go to the you hit the old flutes. You go medieval. You go medieval on it, but it's the same score.
Okay. Back to the questions. Sean, if you were in this situation, would you rather have a drone or a hawk? Because I think they do the same job.
You know what? Hawk. Because the drone can't claw people's eyes out, and that actually seemed useful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, let's be clear. Unless there was a strange cult of whatever those were who worship drones,
but it's
the movie would have ended very differently.
Oh.
That's true too.
So true.
Who knew that medallion would come in so handy at the end of this movie? Who would have guessed?
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay, a couple more questions. Aron, if we were ferret friends, would you be Kodo or Podo?
I would have thrown myself into the fire at this point. So whichever one that was that didn't make it, that probably would have been me.
Well, you can see I already picked because my name is Podo on the podcast.
Which one survived? Wait a minute. Do we know?
We don't know. No.
They got over that ferret fast too.
It was quick.
I mean, he got over his adopted father's death real quick too.
That's true.
It was like, I'm sad. Now I'm exercising. I'm good.
And his dog's death.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that he found out his father was alive and died. It was just
we're good. That never mattered.
That's just...
Am I right? His mother was a cow, right? Did I see that right in the film?
I think that's half surrogate.
I mean, that's what he was the surrogate. Yeah, the cow was the surrogate. Yeah. He brought the cow in, right, to do that, right? Like they brought... Wonder if they made that cow give real birth, too.
I don't know. But honestly...
I wonder if the cow's trainer got mauled. That's what I'm curious.
Also, why can the Beastmaster not talk to horses?
Yes, I also would like to know this.
That was really bothering me throughout this movie.
I was multiple times thinking, why don't you just ask the horse to stop? Like just
all the time.
So if you wanted to find the difference between now the millennial and the Gen X brain, is as Gen Xers, we were taught, especially in a movie like this, is ask questions about what's happening, but don't ask questions about what's not happening. You just go down these rabbit holes. Really ruins most of the decade.
We're gonna ask questions about what's happening. Why? Since he has because he specifically says, I can see through their eyes and hear their thoughts. And they can do the same for me.
Exactly.
Okay? Why does he talk to the hawk? Is the hawk's, like, I don't want to touch the hawk's brain, so I have to speak hawk to it?
Because if anyone who watched the new Superman knows, screeching hawk sounds are cool. And that's just what we do in movies now.
He did do it very well. He did do a very good screeching hawk sound.
Caw.
He did all three, and they just edited out all the tiger and ferret sounds. So like, this isn't gonna fly, but the hawk sound, it's giving me realism, and I want this as part of my film.
He's going.
Okay, Mark, let's lay down one more track. Go, caw. Okay, Clef, question for you: if you started having visions like Dar, would your first thought be brain tumor or animal savant?
I mean, I guess it would depend on what kind of animal I was near. I would love to get inside the mind of like a salmon. I've been spending so much time in the river trying to catch these things. I'd like to know what it's like for them.
You missed one of the questions. You missed one of the part of the questions to Clef, which was, or did you forage the wrong kind of mushrooms while out with the salmon?
Yeah, some of these fish have fungus growing on them, so maybe that's what it is.
Okay, I've got one last question, and then we can move on to best parts. Sean, what's better, Bat People or Batman?
Batman, what are you doing?
Okay. I like the Bat People. I wasn't quite sure that it wasn't just the KKK in black robes the first time I saw them on screen, but No, the Bat People were pretty cool. I have no idea why they were in the film, but
That's why that Black Panther went crazy.
Why? It's very helpful they were, though, and that they showed up at the end.
yes. Okay, best parts. Who wants to go? I got a lot.
Before we do this, guys, sorry, I'm going to screw up your podcast. Can you pause for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
He's probably got diarrhea. This movie, by the way, is the definition of what this podcast is supposed to be. I haven't watched this since 1982, and all
Right.
I remember, it's cool. He talks to animals, and Tanya Roberts is hot. And I remembered both of those things accurately.
It's funny because that's why I wanted to be on this. Is I thought talking to animals was a cool idea,
Sorry, guys.
and she's hot.
Conceptually, there's things to like, for sure.
First of all, no, I didn't have diarrhea. I can still hear you, Olen. No, there's something burning in the house, and I'm the only one home. I guess my neighbors are barbecuing, is what it turns out to be.
No, that's all good.
But to that point, yes, I do think this movie is what this podcast should be about. My last experience was convincing, a bunch of y'all that Hudson Hawk was awesome, and I felt I won that podcast. I don't think I can win this podcast. I can't win this one.
You did win that one. That was a great title. Okay, I want to go into best parts. What do you guys got? Do you want me to start?
Sure, go for it.
I'm going to be a bit broad to start before we get into specific scenes, because I will give them credit for trying really hard to have distinctive looking areas. I mean, the floating houses on sticks were dumb, but they really
Why did they
tried to make
explode?
things look different.
Why did the floating houses on sticks explode? What was explosive in those houses? That's what I needed to know.
It's the glue.
Why were the houses on sticks?
Clearly,
So,
it was a
look,
Why
desert.
were the houses on sticks?
I'm not saying they made sense. I'm just saying I appreciated the effort they went in to make it not just seem like Earth.
Yeah, I mean, they had money to burn, and they were like, hey, let's put these houses on sticks. That's cool. That looks different. Ba-boom, ba-boom.
But go on, Poto. You had scenes you wanted to talk about.
Right. So best parts. I was going to say dog taking an arrow for his master. Right.
Yes, dog taking an arrow for his master and dragging his master to safety.
No, because dog died. So actually, worst scene.
Yeah, and then dying by his side. That was very sad. But then it's sort of like John Wick, similar idea, right? Now he's got a reason.
No.
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 That's probably actually where John Wick got the idea from.
I wish John Wick was the sequel to this. That would be amazing.
Better movie. Yeah.
That'll be John Wick 5. He discovers his Beastmaster powers.
I'm not saying the movies are the same. I'm saying that you can see the threads. Now, my favorite scene of this movie was the pyramid when he arrives to the pyramid the first time and he finds like the child sacrifice in like progress. And my thought was, oh no, he can't do anything about it because there's no hot babes for him to save. And then the camera pans over to her and she's on the side of the thing. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Now he can actually do something.
I think I have several favorite parts. Anytime there was a montage of which they used a lot to show how good he was at sword fighting, or John Amos's use of a large stick to swirl around, or every time someone showed up and he did his he slashed his sword in front of him in the most 80s style ever to go, look, I'm very serious about sword fighting. Let's do this thing. Excellent. But the amount of effort that went into that final battle was really serious. Like there were a lot of moving pieces to have horses falling into giant mud pits. Everyone's on fire. There's set pieces. That was serious. That said how serious this movie tried to be. Like that was a wild scene.
I mean, that scene gave me flashbacks to watching Man of Steel, where the fight just kept going, and I was struggling so hard to pay attention anymore. It was like, can we stop, please?
Yeah, and I thought those bat people were actually pretty cool. I just don't understand how they fit into the movie, really, or why they were there, but they were pretty cool characters.
I think the same goes for, what were they called? The Death Knights or something? Like, all of a sudden they gave us this whole mythos about strapping people into deadly armor. That whole chase scene with the two ferrets where that one Death Knight is trying to get the two ferrets, that was gold. That was some serious gold.
That was cool.
What a way to torture people, though. We're going to strip you, slap a leather loincloth on you, slap some big, metal boots on you, and put you in a face mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and don't forget, put a
green
earwig into your ear to eat your brain.
Yeah. That also was bad.
Some people want that voluntarily.
Oh dear. Yeah, and speaking of the ferrets, I like the scene chasing two ferrets who stole your underpants and landing in quicksand. I think that was a fun scene. And movie. I had the eyeball ring. The eyeball ring was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that was a neat device.
Cool.
Yeah.
A lot of eyeball rings.
Was a little uncomfortable. How did the hand go through it that one time?
Yeah, I question that because when he poked it in the eye at the end with the stick to defeat it, that stick didn't go through and hurt Rip Torn or take off his obviously fake nose.
Okay, I hate to open it up, but worst parts. I don't think there's many, but
correct. Move on.
Well, I think we've covered them all. I had, let me see, farming in a poncho. I mentioned that. Head soup, the soup they were making with the boiled head, that really looked unappetizing.
I was trying to figure out, like, if you think that's bad, why make your favorite tiger try it first? Like, that seemed like not great.
I had impaling is bad. It's just, personally, I think that it's unpleasant.
Yep. I understand that.
Burning children. I think you're supposed to say that's bad, so
that's correct.
Put it in worst
Feels
parts.
wrong.
I was wrestling with best part, worst part, and then I'm like, okay, do the right thing here.
I mean, most worst parts is every interaction of the main character with the main female lead. Those were all the worst parts.
Using your pet tiger to lure a woman into submission.
Or having your ferret steal her clothes while she's swimming. Like, this all seems like bad choices.
I was going to say, I feel like this is the one I've been on that had the most, like, woke joke, like, woke crap. Like, this was so bad to women.
Yeah.
The way Daw treated her, spying on her, stealing her clothes, gaslighting her constantly.
Yeah.
Using a tiger as your wingman. Attacker, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the tiger was unimpressed with his crap. Like, the first time, the tiger was like, really?
No, I'm not it. I'm not doing this, man. Like, I didn't sign up for this.
No. I'm not standing watch. I'm not standing watch.
Are we trying to eradicate the world of evil? What are you doing here, man?
Yeah.
Like, also, like, he was like, Eric was right. Like, he wasn't going to help anyone unless the girl was there. Like, I'm not going to save the day unless the girl is involved. Really, definitely wasn't going to save the kid if the girl wasn't watching and it made him look good. And then you'll notice he went out of his way. He didn't have to show anyone he was there, but he went out of his way to show the girl that he was there and saved the kid and then left.
That's right.
Sean, that's a great segue into favorite lines, because my favorite line was, I think he's going to help us. When the girl was kissing him, he's like, "You gonna help us?" He's like, "I don't know." And then she kisses him, and the little kid goes, "I think he's gonna help us."
It's the little kid who says it too. It's her like brother or cousin or something, being like, "Yeah, this worked." That was so wrong.
Are they not related? Like, because technically the little kid is his brother, which means she's also his cousin.
Look, we went to credits before we really dove into that problem, okay?
It's true.
It's medieval times. It's fine, Sean.
Yeah.
Although when they were both using the staves and they were doing it in sequence, that was a cool moment.
Yeah, that was good. That was the only fight scene. All the other one-on-one fight scenes, like, Olen's going to tell us this was very high budget at some point, which I would believe when we talk about the sets and the animals and all that. But they could not apparently afford a fight choreographer at any point in this movie. It was just every one-on-one battle was so bad.
I was going to say, I would have given up the raised houses. Like, you could have saved money there and then hired someone who knew how to use a sword.
It's a lot of money in poles on this, right?
Yeah.
Their poll budget was severe, so I agree with you, Sean. Well, why don't we find out how it did? So, according to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, Beastmaster was 55th highest earning movie at the box office in 1982. So, E.T. was the biggest earner this year, and Beastmaster was beat handily by a suspiciously similar movie called Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, they came out in the same year?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm going to, before I continue, I'm going to spoil some trivia here. The director, Don Cosachelli, was offered Conan the Barbarian and turned it down to do this.
Oh.
Okay, well, I mean, I was going to say I'm glad because I remember Conan being good, but also I haven't seen Conan since I was like 8, so maybe Conan is terrible.
Well, we'll find out when we do that episode. So Beastmaster was beaten this year by movies we've covered on the podcast, including Tootsie, Porky's, First Blood, and Firefox, Sean. Still, it beat other movies. It beat Das Boot, which actually had 6 Oscar nominations. I tell you, the Oscars didn't really do themselves any favors by overlooking Beastmaster, I think.
Best Ferret.
Chariots of Fire won the Oscar this year, and I mean, which one would you rather watch, Beastmaster or Chariots of Fire? Obviously, Beastmaster. Okay, let's talk about the budget. So, what do you think the budget was for this film?
Probably soaring budget would be my guess.
I'd say probably 20 to 30, somewhere in there.
That high? Huh.
I think so. When you look at like once you get to locations, the amount of sets there were
a lot of
everything was shot on location, which means they're building sets places. This is very pre-green screen. Like what you saw is what you saw.
The wardrobe department was so cheap.
True. We did save a lot on that and choreography. Yes.
I'm gonna go. I don't know, 14 million, I guess.
I'm gonna go with 40 million.
It's $8 million budget.
Oh.
$8 million went into this, and then it made $14 million.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wait, is that even profitable then?
Probably.
Well,
not.
you know,
Probably not.
You got to double it to really start making money, right?
Yeah.
Aaron? You would know.
Usually you spend the budget also in marketing and P&A.
Yeah.
So,
That was my
or
understanding.
P&A.
So
But-
not profitable. How did they get it too?
I'll tell you why. I know the answer to that. So apparently it made a shitload of money on TV. And when HBO started, this movie was on so much that they used to say HBO meant, hey, Beastmaster's on. So it was a financial success on TV.
Interesting. This does seem like the perfect like TV movie where like you know, back when you had no control on what you were watching, you just picked the channel
Yeah.
and hoped.
I can picture where the ads would go in this movie. Like,
Aaron, I heard you asking, or somebody asked the question, what did Conan make?
Can I request that we do Conan soon?
I'm going to look it up. Give me a second, because now I'm interested. 1982.
Well, hold off. We should just get this group back soon to do Conan the Barbarian. I feel like we need to complete the circle.
yeah, follow up.
This is the sword and sandal crew now from now on.
Our original Conan, budget 20, gross 68.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, so this was a popular movie on TV. That's why it got its sequels. What do you think on Rotten Tomatoes? So critic score and audience score, this is going to be fun. Who wants to guess?
Oh,
Oof.
I'll start.
First of all, do you guys think critics like this genre?
Part of me thinks critics liked it more than, well, I don't know. The acting was pretty shit.
Oh, come on.
I think critics like this, like from a like the genre. Like if you looked at things like Excalibur, which did really well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it did.
I think critics would have been like, this is a beautiful movie, like Dragon Slayer or even Conan. Like these are wild sets and beautiful movies. To your point, maybe if they had the sound off or didn't look at the characters ever, it would have really affected them.
If you deleted 70% of the movie, it would be a great movie.
If it was more of a silent survey of the geography, it would have been great.
Critics tend to like witches and G-strings, so take that in mind when you make your guess.
There's part of me that thinks that there's like a large contingent of people who saw this movie when they were a kid and remembered it with the things that they loved. And so I'm going to say maybe audience like 72 is what I'm going to guess. And then critics, I'm going to say lower. I'm going to say like 65.
I'm going to be the opposite end of the spectrum. And I actually think I'm going to go the other way around. I'm going to say critics 48, audience 42.
Okay.
Ooh. No, I think you all are giving everyone far too much credit on this one. Like, this isn't even the worst, best version of this movie from that year. So
I agree with that. There were a lot of good sword and sandals.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go critics 27, audience 47.
Interesting.
Or maybe, 47. We'll go 47.
Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, critics 50. So 50% of critics said get out and see this film. Yep.
Okay.
50% of critics said get out and see this movie.
I'm feeling good about my guess so far.
And audience 54.
Oh.
So audience and critics were pretty much agreed, like, yeah, this is a decent film.
I don't think half is decent, but okay.
Okay, and we all know low score wins at this game. So, Aron, you had a 30, Clef, you had a 33, and Sean, 14.
Ooh.
Nice win there, Sean.
I don't like that my best showing is on a sword and sandal movie, but okay.
We'll get used to it.
I do like you've said sword and sandals more time in your life in the last 20 minutes than you have the rest of it combined. But
I am quite fond of that weird subset of genre. Like the idea that got a name is amazing to me.
Yeah. Okay, some movie trivia for you, and I covered some of it already, but the original camera negative for this film is lost. It was stored in a private house, which was sold, and no one knows what happened to it.
What?
Coscarelli.
Who doesn't take this stuff out of their house? What do you mean it was sold and they...
It ended up in someone's garage sale, I'm sure.
I left these film wheels on the banister. It's fine. What?
This sure is a heavy frisbee.
What the hell?
So Coscarelli has asked the public for help, and all I will say is thank goodness Aron kept his Betamax copy so it won't be lost to history. So for roles, Coscarelli picked Demi Moore for the Curry role, but was overruled by the studio. And then, I don't know if you guys know this, but Tanya Roberts became Sheena in 1984. So Sheena is the same genre and a character that can communicate with animals.
Was it associated in any way? Did it have any affiliation?
No affiliation. They just took her, they took the almost exact same script and premise and just made her the lead and called her Sheena.
yeah.
I mean, sounds better.
Yeah.
Because she's a girl. Sheena.
Wow.
It's good to know their naming capabilities stay similar, though.
Stay similar the whole time.
Mayax has questions.
Okay. Let's talk about woke or joke here. Anything that doesn't particularly hold up, and I think we covered using a tiger as a wingman for rape. I think is not cool.
Yeah,
I think
this movie's bad.
I think a black cat with white lips is definitely not cool.
No, don't feel good about how this movie treated really anybody involved. Including the audience.
I think I just got my cold open for this episode.
Yeah. Everyone was injured in the filming of this movie. Yes.
Yeah, they certainly didn't treat the animals well, painting them and throwing them out of balloons.
I was trying to remember all the movies I've been on for this podcast, and I feel like this is by far the most egregious of all of them.
I went down the list. Before I came on this podcast for this one because it's been so long since I've done this. And from reading that list, I don't think there's a close second anywhere. I have to be fully honest. This one just hits all the wrong notes.
It's so
many
bad.
times. Yeah.
It's so inappropriate.
I don't think Porky's treated people like.
the funny thing about the 80s is we did Porky's as episode number 2. This is the second episode we ever did, and we hit Woke or Joke, and we're like, oh my God. And then now, after doing 62, we look back and go, Porky's wasn't so bad. Like,
There were no animals hurt in Porky's. Like,
no animals were hurt.
I just can't get past the treatment. The treatment of, what was it? Tanya was the character's name, I think. Like, it was so bad, consistently bad.
Yeah. It was consistently like she was an object. And then
Daw's treatment of her was awful at every level, and other characters supported it. It's like, yeah, we'll use her as bribery.
I will tell you this, is that I'm all for nudity in a film, but it was ridiculous that they were swimming with their tops down. Like, you either go topless, like that's got to be uncomfortable, right?
as uncomfortable as listening to you talk about this, I don't know.
That's like swimming with your Speedos at your knees, right? Like, take them off or put them on. Okay, bad analogy.
Spoken like a man who's living next to a pool shared by numerous rooms. Yes.
Okay, this is getting really awkward. So I'm going to go to reviews. However you guys felt about this movie, I promise you there's others who liked it more or less than you. And for this movie, there were 25 10-star reviews out of 137 total reviews. So a fella named Lizard78 says, this is better than Conan. Beastmaster taps into the main vein of 70s fantasy feel in every way imaginable. Except it was made in the 80s, but regardless. A guy called Nuplet says, the Beastmaster is great, excellent, magnificent, marvelous, fascinating, superb, extraordinary movie. Even nowadays, I can say this is one of my favorite movies. I enjoyed watching it the same way as I did when I was little. The plot is great. The heroes are fantastic. When watching it, I feel like I'm living during those ages.
Does he think they happened?
I think so. Some of these people are a little odd. Basically, this is Conan with pets. Yep, true.
Fair. That's the truest thing you've said in this entire podcast.
The Beastmaster is the Star Wars of barbarian movies. I really fail to see one fault in it at all. It is by far the most entertaining movie I've ever seen. Plus, sit down and listen to the Beastmaster theme. It's exhilarating. Right, Clef?
I could not tell you what the Beastmaster theme was. I'm like...
It was a bad version of Lady Hawk. That I can tell you.
There's a movie we need to do.
Lady Hawk, that'd be a good movie. That'd be a good movie to do.
One more 10-star review. What a movie. This is one of Hollywood's best 10 efforts. I wish I could remember those ferret names, though. Was it Fofo and Tia? I have no idea.
What are the 9 other efforts of Hollywood?
Beastmaster 2 and 3. Yeah, definitely.
Of course. Okay, well, let's hear from people who liked it less. And for this movie, there were only 2 people who rated it 1 star compared to the 25 10-star reviews.
I guess that's Eric and me.
2 out of 137. Let's hear them out indeed. Ice Hole. I remember seeing this film back when it came out in 1982, and it had a very short run in the theater. One man sat up in the middle of the film and shouted, "The Bear's the best actor," and stomped out of the theater.
True story.
The Bear was good. And Philippe Manuel, the script is so stupid that I confess I got lost in it, and that doesn't usually happen, even when the movies are really bad. The cinematography was unpleasant to the eyes and does not obscure the poorly elaborate sets and costumes worthy of a poor comic book. The cast is dominated by Mark Singer and Tanya Roberts. I think they were never good actors. Even so, in the midst of a cast of amateurs with very little talent, they look like 2 movie stars.
Ouch, John Amos.
Yeah. He's awesome from Good Times, right?
Yep. McDowell's.
Siskel and Ebert, I would love to tell you what they thought, but we were skunked. I think perhaps they were intimidated by real cinema. So let me ask, well, we all know, does this movie deserve a remake, prequel, or sequel? So we know that it had 2 direct-to-cable sequels, but did you know that it had a TV series from 1990 to the year 2000? So a 3-year run.
Yep.
You can see it.
And I will just tell you the Rotten Tomatoes score. Beastmaster 2 got a 33, and Beastmaster 3 got a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not that great. But tell me, don't you think this deserves a remake? I think it's a great premise.
the core concept is fun, and I think you could do it really well these days without torturing animals, which would be better.
Agreed.
I think the problem of doing a remake is someone is going to go back and watch the original. I think that's the risk you have. Is someone
But if
sees...
they watch the original before they watch your movie, you can't fail.
True. They may pick at your movie, though. That's the problem.
But in my opinion, the job of a remake is only to take movies that have a great premise and weren't done well and remake them, right? Because I hate it when they take a movie that was great and then remake it. It's always disappointing. Like, I don't think you're going to disappoint anybody if you take this premise and remake it.
I mean, I will say, one of my early thoughts in this movie was I kind of wish we had more completely out there fantasy movies where someone just had a crazy idea and they went for it. That was a very 80s thing that doesn't really happen anymore. And that's so if you take some of these crazy ideas, put a good plot in it and some good actors, could be fun.
Okay, before we get to the conclusion, I want to try a new segment idea here, and I call it Best Crossover. If you were to do a crossover for this movie, what do you think would be the best crossover?
Well,
my heart says Knight Rider, but I don't know why.
Oh, Knight Rider! I love Knight Rider.
Oh, that would be good. I mean, he's been in some tricky situations.
Showing up at the end there with instead of the horses.
Wouldn't even be the weirdest thing in this movie, just for the record.
it's true.
Okay, well, I was thinking, what about Jaws? Because he can control animals, right?
There you go.
Oh, could we find out the like really what Jaws was thinking, like why Jaws was up to it?
Yeah.
See, I kept coming back to Jurassic Park.
So.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's obvious, but I honestly, Conan. I want to.
Yeah.
The final
fight
showdown
between Conan and Daw.
I'm gonna go with, for real, Clash of the Titans. Because to see the stop motion creatures from Clash of the Titans go up against the real creatures from this one, I think would be fantastic.
Oh, you got
fantastic
some good ones.
That barrel fuck him up.
That's good. Okay, well, we went much longer on this podcast than I thought. I thought this would be a fast episode. That's fantastic. We have to conclude now. So I'm going to ask you guys, is this movie too old or pure gold?
Oh.
I'll help. Too old.
Oh, Sean. Clef, what do you think?
I think it's old. I think that it has sort of some gold tinges to it, but I still think you should put it in the box.
It's one or the other, Eric. You can't hedge. All the one way or all the other.
Sean, I do not deal in absolutes. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
There's been multiple times in the past, and no one's let me get away with it, so I'm not letting you get away with it.
It's old, okay? It's old. Is that what you want me to say?
Yes.
Wow, there's a lot of bullying going on in this episode.
I know you brought me on in hopes that you would find a fellow traveler, Olen, but this is just too old, man. All too old.
For me, I was totally entertained by this movie the second time watching it. I'm going to call it pure gold. I love it. I said it at the beginning. A guy that can control animals, sword fighting, sexy witches.
It's like your life, basically, Olen.
It really is. Can you imagine if I could channel these two chihuahuas and see what they're seeing?
I think you go insane quickly.
This really is a movie that I remember fondly from being a kid and watching movies, and so I'm not gonna shit on it. I'm gonna call it pure gold. People out there need to see this film. That's what I'm gonna say.
I like that for you.
Okay. Well, this was fun. Aron, thanks for coming back. Next time, I won't make you do one so painful. Maybe I'll let you pick the movie next time. But this was fun, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much for having me, Olen.
Sean, Clef. Sean, go back and tend to your ferrets. They're probably starving by now.
I will.
Clef, go practice that hurdy-gurdy.
There it is.
Now you have competition for your coat open.
That's right.
I do. That would be good also. Okay, see you guys. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks. Good one.
Thanks. Bye.
See you, buddy.